Casual video here. I have been to the mountaintop, and the spirit of ER Shred has spoken. It has been revealed to me. Hi, Bobby. I love you, Bob Sivright. ER Shred Ambassador Bob Sivright. He's here. He doesn't even know what I'm about to say. He's probably Bob, you're probably going, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, what's he gonna say? Okay, so I do want to take a moment and kind of break down the relationship of ER Shred to, or the relationship of, say, Isagenix to ER Shred. Okay, ER Shred, I'm gonna frame this in such a way so that hopefully, I wanna frame it in such a way that it kind of clicks for people. And the best way I could think to frame it would be family. Family. Okay, so think about this. My mom and dad, out of the goodness of their hearts, they have these children and they have all these grandchildren, like a dozen of them, and their dream when they had built the Isagenix success up and they had this income, their dream was to have a place where the entire family could come together and they could all commune and kind of enrich those relationships. Well, they had the best of intentions. My mom and dad did. And I love them for it. And they invested a lot. My dad would go up there, driving up there weekly, ensuring that the build was going okay. I was up there hanging the trusses with Gerhardt and Gerhardt Koenig. He's essentially my uncle. I've known him my whole life. He built the whole cabin with his own hands. It was so meaningful. And as I look back on it, there's just some interesting dynamics that you can learn from. So the goal was to have enough, guest rooms and enough everything so that the entire family could come up and be together. And it was all built, it was all furnished, it was tremendous, it was beautiful. Just stared out over this beautiful lake, Bear Lake, and just picturesque, the view, everything was just perfect. Well, then you start putting all of the family in the same house, and you start to realize that those social dynamics of personalities and so forth, those things still exist, as they do for my family. People say, you should get your family, Sean. You can work from anywhere. You've got residual income. You should get your family and go get a motorhome. Travel the country. Go to all the national parks. And Crystal and I have always kind of scoffed at that and laughed, and we thought, I've got a 6,000 square foot house and we can't get these people to get these kids to get along. You think I'm going to put them all, what's up, Jared? What's up, Lisa? You think I'm going to put them all in a motor home and stick them all together for any length of time? They'll kill each other. They'll drive me nuts. I still feel that way. So we have the whole family at the cabin, and what unfolds, but you start to learn, thank you, Jared. You start to learn what? You start to learn that, certain personalities, certain behavioral types, certain color codes, call it whatever you will. In fact, I've got a whole nother thing I reference it to that'll be coming, later, but I'm just not ready to share that with everybody. But you put all these things together, and you know what? It doesn't work. And my parents had the best of intentions, but we go up there for a weekend and, I'm not getting along with so-and-so. So-and-so's not getting along with her, and there's all these dynamics that come into play, and we don't need to focus on that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. You don't have to assign meaning to that. You don't have to say so-and-so's too selfish, or so-and-so's too self-serving, or so-and-so never chips in, or so-and-so, they don't want to be here. You don't go there. Why? Because we all love each other. Genuinely, my entire family, we all love each other. But you just can't expect everybody to get along in that environment, in those constraints. So we had to find our way, and the way we would find our way would be, this particular segment of the family could go up there with this particular segment of the family, but this other segment of the family, they had to go up on their own, and they just had to be alone. And that's okay too, and there's just no judgment there, and it's okay. And the cabin still serves a wonderful, beautiful purpose. Is it what they had dreamt of? No, but to dream of that, it might be, it's impossible. It's impossible. You see what I'm saying? It'd be like saying, why don't my wife and I always get along? We don't always get along, and that's okay. It's not a problem. So with that said, as a company gets bigger and bigger and bigger, what unfolds is culturally, it becomes more and more diversified, just like a family. And that is not a bad thing. That just is. And you have to just look at that as what is. When I left my religion, one of the things that I felt so freed about, I felt so free. I refer to it a lot because that experience, not only is it my most proud thing that I'm accomplished, that I've ever accomplished in my life, and I owe so much of that to Crystal, but what I accomplished was I got to realize that I am what I am, and that's okay. And I can't be what I am not. And other people are what they are, and that's okay. And they cannot be what they are not. But to pigeonhole people, to try to turn people into robots, it won't work. It can't work. It never will work. It never has worked. And therefore, I started to recognize in my Isagenix organization, I started to recognize something. I had built it not as my true self. I had actually, just as I was trying, girls, I'm doing a video. Can you guys be quiet for a minute? I'm so sorry.
We're gonna go down there.
Where else can I go, guys? You're gonna go down there?
Yeah.
Okay. So I built it not as I was. Not as I was. I built it as I was expected to be, or as I was trained to be. I was reactive. All I did was people would say, this is what you do, and I would do that. I didn't give it a lot of thought. It's like how I played high school football. It was just reactive. They would say, run there, block that person. I would just do it. They would say, catch the ball here, throw the ball there. I would just do it. I was reactive. There wasn't a lot of feel. There wasn't a lot of thought. I think that's why I look back on my athletic career with so much regret, because hindsight, I can see that the best players, they actually brought them to the table. They weren't just reactive. I want to be the best player I can be. I want to be the best person I can be. That's what ER Shred is. I look back at my Isagenix career and I realized that I didn't bring a lot of me to it. I really didn't. And I regret that, because I worked so hard for so long, and I learned a lot, but I also, I was reactive, and that's what I regret, because I didn't bring enough of me to it. And it's no different. When you go to an Isagenix event, it's kind of interesting, because it's kind of like stuffing that entire massive family into that cabin and just assuming that they like the same things, that they can be cohesive, that they get along, that they have the same interests, and yet it's not the case. It's just not the case. ER Shred was born of a legitimate health crisis that I suffered. There was no other agenda other than I discovered a way that I could actually reclaim my health. And I discovered a lifestyle that worked and that was empowering and that was unbelievably, I couldn't help but share it. And Crystal and I, for months, we just said, how do we share this? How do we share this knowledge? We'd put together all these different pieces, the best of John Anderson, the best of Isagenix, the best of my mom and dad, Tony and Randy, the best of even, in my opinion, some of the best of Dr. Josh Plant. We put together these pieces and we forged a protocol. And that's what ER Shred is. Forget about the fact that there's all these products. We identified specific products that were unique and that fell within the mindset, or they actually fall within the parameters that are new parameters that we had set dietarily for us to be able to use within the protocol to complement it and to make it effective. That's what we did. And what was born was something so simple yet so effective that it's almost indistinguishable from magic. And I don't say that in a bragging way, because all we did was I was born in Isagenix. I was doing Isagenix full time at the age of 21. I'm a very observant person. My father is an observant person, a thinker. Not a lot of talk, a lot of thought. Very independent, very reserved, and a lot of thought. And when this all came into being, it felt like fate. It actually felt like fate, because I couldn't, sorry about the background noise, the kids decided that now was the perfect time to have a party. I could not continue to be reactive in my efforts within that model. I couldn't do it anymore. It wasn't serving my soul. So, how does this work? ER Shred is its own thing. It's its own protocol. It's its own dietary lifestyle. It's its own brand. And Isagenix is a partner of ER Shred. ER Shred is a partner of Isagenix. Do you see what I'm saying? This terminology of fulfillment company is not the correct terminology moving forward. The correct terminology is partner. And that's the way that it should have been presented from the very beginning. But ER Shred is, it's just a unique demographic of people. It's a unique culture. It's a very specific, it's no different than saying, hey, Andrea's family and so-and-so's family, they mesh, they vibe together, they get along well, they can all use the cabin at the same time, and it works well. It's no different than saying ER Shredders are we're a community of people that is of a certain mentality, of a certain, maybe even image. It's not necessary to say, this is right, this is wrong. I don't believe in that binary thinking anymore. It's not right to say these people over here, or, and say derogatory things about people. Whenever you do that, it just speaks to your own character. Don't do that. We don't do that. We shouldn't do that. And so moving forward, all I hope people will see ER Shred as is a partner, and Isagenix is a partner, and it's a beautiful relationship, and it's a beautiful partnership, and it is very cohesive, and it's wonderful. It is absolutely perfect in every single way. Now, moving forward, it's important that everyone consider, it's important that we all consider these parameters. it's important that we understand that, you know, not everybody wants to go market skincare. For instance, my wife and I, we don't want to go market skincare. I know that Isagenix doesn't want to hear that, but the cool thing about Isagenix is they are cool. I love them for this. Jim Coover, Kathy Coover, Eric Coover, they have never forced us to do anything. They never have. They don't have that power over distributors, and they know they don't. And they know they shouldn't. And they know that if they did, it is an abuse of power. And that's the one thing that I've always noticed about them is that, hey, if you want to do this, do it. If you want to do that, do it. If you want to try this, try that, try this, that, and the other, go right ahead. Because at a heart level, what we are is we're trying to help as many people as we can with something that we're very passionate about, actually, which is helping people reclaim their health. Good grief, these kids are loud. Let's see if I can go somewhere else. We're trying to help people reclaim their health. And as we're helping people reclaim their health, does it really matter which products we select? Does it really matter which pack, which blah, blah, blah? That's all, to me, I'm sorry, but that if that's where we are, then we're really forgetting our purpose and our mission and our objective. And so with that in mind, are ER Shredders going to be passionate about marketing each and every single product that Isagenix has to offer? No, and that's okay. And guess what? If I was to have a conversation with Jim, Kathy Coover, Eric Coover, Sharon Walsh, they would all say, hey, that's not a problem, because they know their role. They know they're a partner, and the judgment just isn't there. We are not marketers per se. We're not. The ways have changed. Vibrationally, everything is changing. And if you don't realize that, well, look what happened. Even in my career, what unfolded. In my career, it used to be belly to belly, face to face, see the color of people's eyes, shake their hand, meetings. It's not that way anymore. It's just not. Things have evolved. People want to have time. People don't want to spend every night of the week giving presentations and traveling and being in hotels. And I think it's a great thing. And I think there's further evolutions coming. And for me personally, one of those important, powerful evolutions, look at this Beefzilla. One of those evolutions is actually, let's find ways to do it so that we can all be more complementary, so that we can all offer up our most unique and wonderful talents and gifts, and so that we're all not robotic. Why? Isagenix has always had this mantra, one team, one team, one team, one team. And it's one of those mantras that I think it really sounds good and it feels good to say it, but I have seen instances where it's not the case. It's okay. It's the same as no different than, all the family not working at the cabin. There's no different. It just might not work. That's okay. But I think it can work as long as we have tolerance. As long as we understand that we're all different. And as long as we don't, point the finger at one another and moving forward and say, they're wrong because of this and we're right because of that. It's okay. It's okay to have different terminology. It's okay to have different ideology. It's okay to have, very specific, you might call it criteria in terms of demographic. Like it's just okay. And all should feel welcome. And all should feel like there's a place for them. So one of the things was, I remember when Isagenix was the Start craze. And I remember, Start went bonkers. Remember Start, which was ages 18 to 35. There was a focus on ages 18 to 35. And I remember, because I'm involved at a very high level and have been since the very beginning, I remember all the phone calls coming into my mom and dad. Older people saying that, the culture of the company is changing. It's changing. All these young people are taking over. And all these young people, they're all that matter. And I remember this distinctly. And, again, there can be space for all of us. There really can be. And that is what I anticipate will happen moving forward. It's no different than all the religions. If you think about it, it's like all the religions at some point or another, they have to drop the dogma, as they have. Most of them have dropped their judgment of LGBTQ, even though in the Bible it says man shall not lie with man, and it does. I mean, the Bible is dogmatic, it's ancient, and there were beliefs back then, such as slavery, that we've abandoned. Well, they're moving forward in any network marketing company. There could be lots of different subcultures within any host, partner company. Lots and lots of different subcultures. That is tolerance. That is beautiful. I think that's where the future is headed, because I really believe that people want to find themselves. Just like, how cool would it be if you weren't born into any religion, and if you felt like, if you didn't want to do religion, like me, I'm so non-religious and always have been my entire life. And I had to force that upon myself. I had to force it. But how cool would it be if you were born and you had a clean slate? You weren't born Catholic. You weren't born Jehovah's Witness. You weren't born Seventh-day Adventist. You weren't born Baptist. You weren't born Scientologist. You weren't born Mormon. You weren't born nothing. And if you feel called to any religious context or belief system, you could go and you could review that. You could say, try it on. But there was never any like, we're right. Or there was never any, we're the way, the one and only way. If there was never any of that, could religion serve a purpose? Could it be useful? My wife seems to think so. I mean, I look at it through different lenses, because I look at it through Sean Escobar lenses, which say religion is so not for me, it's not even funny. See what I'm saying? So I hope you guys can understand that through tolerance, we can all coexist, we can all thrive, we can all find our place. Just wipe that slate clean and start to try different things on, would be my suggestion, because otherwise, if you don't, it's like being born in a religion and you stay in it. You don't question it. It's the truth. You pass that on to your children. They pass it on to theirs. They pass it on to theirs. They pass it on to theirs. And you might say, well, that's what I want. But I might offer that maybe you don't know. Maybe you've never even given place that anything could ever be any different. My most proud accomplishment in my entire life is leaving my religion, because I was never meant to be there. Now, does that maybe make my mom and dad feel like, oh, Sean, come on, don't say that. I don't mean it out of anger. I don't even feel anger anymore. I felt it for a couple years. There was trauma there. There will be trauma when you force a square peg into a round hole. There's going to be trauma. Those edges have to get scraped and bruised and cut up. A lot of trauma there. But, Isagenix is cool because they're not like a religion. They don't force anything upon anyone. They're that clean slate. If you were to come into, them and say, well, this is my tribe, this is my demographic. I like the vibe over here. It's cool. And one of the coolest things that I found in network marketing is that we can all serve each other. we can all serve each other. So for instance, if someone was to, get involved with ER Shred, hi Brad, and they get involved with ER Shred and, they're like, oh wow, this is fun, but then they see a different subculture over there or over here and they go, oh, I think I want to try that on for size. They try it on. It fits. And if it fits, if we really do practice the one team mantra, then it can fit. And no, you don't need to be a member of any of those people's team. No, you don't need to be generating those people income. Hi, Jesse James. No, of course not. Because if we really do practice the one team philosophy, then it's like what we've been doing for 16 straight months. For 16 straight months, Crystal, myself, Jesse James Jamnick, Bob Sivright, Susan Rothman, Heather Sika Leonard, Lenny Evans, all we have done is given and given and given. I wouldn't say it's exhaustive because it's been unbelievably beautiful and fulfilling, because what we have done is we've identified our like kind, and that is magic. When you identify your like kind, that's all that really matters, is that you commune with those people, and it doesn't matter who makes the money off who. And if that's what the focus is, that's not one team. That would suggest that the one team mantra is just a saying and that it doesn't hold water. But if it holds water, it sure as hell holds water in ER Shred, because all we've done is give and give and give and give and give for the sake of the overall greater good. And we found a way to do it our way. And we found a way that works for us. And we found a way that offers us fulfillment. And we found a way where we can each bring our unique talents, energies, gifts. Oh God, that's going to make me emotional. It's just so much goodness, so pure. Lenny would call it divine. We have so much good coming. You have no idea how much good we've got coming. And the beauty is that we will be a space that people can come and they can grow roots, and people will get well. That's been happening for 16 months, and I've never seen anything like it before. Neither has so many of us. We've just never seen it to this degree. And people will get well, and people that need income will have an opportunity to generate more income. And it's there, and it's all unfolding right before our eyes. And all you ER shredders out there, you deserve it. And I'm so excited for you. And I know you'll do the work, because ER shredders are not afraid of work. I love you all. Just wanted to make sure we reframe that. The spirit of ER Shred has spoken, and it is very important that we not use terminology that would insinuate any kind of negativity or slight or anything of the sort, because that is not what we intend. We're partners, all of us, and even if you don't see the way we see, even if we're that brother that you're just like, where the hell did he come from? This brother of mine is nothing like me. My brother would tell you the same about me. But boy, by God, we love each other fiercely. And if you needed me, Anthony, if you ever saw this, you know if you ever needed me, your brother Sean will be there in a heartbeat, no questions asked. And I love you, and I know you're a good person. And I know you'd say the same about me. That is the relationship of all these different Isagenix subcultures. It has to be. Otherwise, nobody's allowed to say one team anymore. And we sure like to say it, but let's have this integrity where if we say it, we practice it. That's important on both sides. There really aren't sides, but it's important that we frame it that way, that we all understand that some of your team will come to ER Shred, and we will welcome them. And we will not do anything to dissuade them from supporting what you've built, and we hope for the same. We hope that if any of our people who originate from our organizations, and they come and they want to vibe with you, we hope you'd embrace them as we have. We've embraced everyone from every team all across the board, and we've brought, I guarantee you that we brought stability all across the entire company in to some degree, because we really care, and that's been our intent. Lenny will explain in clear terms how that has been part of the plan since the very beginning, and that's all forthcoming. But we believe in this notion that when the tide rises, so do all ships. And we love all of them. All of them are wonderful. Okay? So guys, I hope this helps, because it's important. It's important. It's very important. Sometimes, you know, we don't realize that messaging, what we mean, what we intend, the intention of our messaging might not be received the way that we had meant it. This is culturally part of the problem, and why there's so much intolerance in the world is because we have to learn that not everybody sees everything the way you see it. Everybody has different color lenses. Everybody has different backgrounds, cultures, religions, education, everything. And so I want to put that offering out there that we're all partners and we all serve one another. And yes, we have a very definitive culture in ER Shred. We have a very definitive culture. We're very proud of it. It is very unique. It's very distinct. And we hope to maintain that culture. But it's still open to all. And if it's a fit for you or any of your people, please do not be threatened. It's a good thing. It's good for all. And we welcome all. All our love. Bye-bye.